Doing, let's say you're doing the front leg, so you say, you get the, so you come in here and you say, well, you get that shape through the thigh, and you get that cross section, quadricep group, find out where the patella is, so you have two shapes. You have a quadricep group, and so you're here, pull them together, get that overlap here, comes around, so you get the knee, you have the knee, the tibia swings through, gastrocnemius, and so real quickly you can come in here and you get that swing through. Knee ankles higher on the inside, come down, so then you come back, you come in here, you get that overlap, quadricep comes up, the vastus medialis, this ends, comes around here, you get your knee in, right away that you get that you talk about overlapping, so you get that leg, coming out, throw a little hatching in if there's a plane change. And when they do the lower leg, see, everybody tries to come and get that gastrocnemius. The trick is to follow that tibia out. See that?
When
you follow the tibia,
of course.
Follow that, yeah. So when the tibia comes out here, then that gastrocnemius, which is high on the outside, low on the inside.
Amazing.
Comes down in here, ankles higher on the inside, low on the outside, swings out and gets that. And, then the foot, I say, is like the shape of a pear coming out. So real quickly, you can only come in here, and then when you have the model there, you can get a real nice, shape of, getting that leg, so you can get a leg, working pretty quickly like that. So
pretty good.
Yeah. So you do stuff like that, and you think, oh yeah, that's how you bring a leg out. You talk about, you throw little hatching strokes in, and when you let lines fade out, so you don't, you cut it off like pin the tail on the donkey.
So did somebody instruct you way back when on
a little bit, but I just kind of find what works nicely. But I know that swing of the tibia is one of those things that, you really can come in here. So when you're drawing, you come in and you get that shape. It really helps you get that swing, and so you always get that swing in. And then from that, I say there's a lot of sculpting. You come in and you sculpt out of those shapes. So everybody wants to draw. They want to do both sides all the time, and that's why people get these as I call bowling pin looking symmetrical legs, where this comes in. They can get that shape here, but really this shape mimics that shape as it tapers in. Just things like saying the ankles higher on the inside and lower on the outside helps them. So when they're drawing,
that's interesting.
So you come in and and work that foot down, and and then pretty soon it's pretty easy. And then we talk about shading a core, the shadow. And so really, people that draw comic books, that's why they don't. A lot of those guys, they don't ever use. They're so good because they do so much figure drawing that they don't need to. They don't really need to have a model because they're just really good. Doing that. So, and then you show them that, and then the figure's up, and then you got to walk around and redraw it 100 times. Everybody, because they.
It's one thing to watch it right there. It's another thing for them to do it and draw from observation.
Right. So you get those things like saying swing everything in, swing it in, build shapes, work light to dark. So it's fun, and I enjoy it. And then the front of the leg is the same thing. You say, well, you do the front of the leg. If the leg comes out here, you get the knee, and that front of that tibia. It's always the tibia you do as front first. It's an S curve. It swings out, comes in here. Then you can come and get the gastrocnemius. You know how they converge for a second, and they swing back. And I say for the foot, do it like your old man's slipper. Get the ankle in there, and get the swing of that leg right there. So right away you get the knee here. It's that I call it that S curve. There's so many S curves in the figure. Swing like that. So then you come back and you have a nice swing for that lower leg that quickly. Where people they don't see that S curve, and once you see that S curve, then you say that, well, the foot's never this way. It's never. It's called the hockey stick leg.
Oh, yeah.
You can always put a ball. You can always put a ball where that starts kicking out. You know, so it comes back here, so you have the ankle in there. There's always that little swing here, so when you're working that foot, you know, then when you do the foot, you always do the littlest, the toe that you see the most of first, then you work your way down. You know, then you talk about measuring, you know, you know, how many feet are in the leg. But it comes up pretty nicely. So there's a lot of little guideline things that you say from experience, but then they remember those things.
Sure.
You know, like when I do a foot, I always say, you know, I go, so when I come down, I get that foot, to get a foot. Here I say, I go, a foot's like an off-center pair. You know, and I go like that, I'll go like that, I put a little thing there. So they see that when that foot comes, you know, so when that foot comes down, and then you know, you come in here, so a little bit off-center, swings back, and I say you do the toe, you see the most stuff first, and you work your toes in there, so you get that shape of that foot. You know, so it can be that quickly, you can get that shape, and then talk about the toenails and how they help it go back, so that quickly you can get a pretty nice shape of the foot, you know, without really doing a lot, so you can get that. So I do things that can stick in their heads, and not just, well, there's a foot, and then metatarsals. Never talk about that. You know, it just confuses me. Talk all about shape and flow, and it really makes a huge difference when you teach.
That's great.
So they kind of remember those things as you know, as you're demoing. And it also helps to have a figure up there, but because I do it so much, I don't. A lot of times I'm barely looking up, you know, and I'm just kind of drawing, and it's really performance. And I have a big sheet of paper, and you know, so I draw fairly big, but I have tons of sketchbooks of just full of all these great pages of all these different hands, and they really look quite nice, and I just sit there. I used to do them on students' papers. Yeah, it'd be nice if sometime I could do that, you know, come and plan something like that.
Well, we have to get you out here sooner than later.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But see how nice that looks, how quickly, I mean, how quickly that came up without a model.